this is our last math lesson for the week, and you probably want to have the stage in front of you. You can work along with me on this one. I will be doing different problems, but they're very, very similar. So if you have page 4 in front of you, I will tell you which problems are similar. So they're not in the same order on my paper, but I will tell you which one it's like, and so then you can go to that problem, and after I finish doing this, you can pause and work your problem, and then start the video again for the next one. So if you'd like to work through it that way, you can, and then when you get all the way done with the video, you'll be all the way done with your lesson. So let's go ahead and get started. So remember, we're talking about rates, and the one thing I don't like about this, I got this assignment online, and they ask you a question and another question. So you'll have 2 answers for most of your problems. But this one asks for the rate second, and I want us to find the unit rate first. So we'll be doing that. So it says gas mileage is the number of miles you can drive on a gallon of gasoline. So it's miles per gallon, which is a rate. A test of a new car results in 470 miles on 20 gallons of gas. How far could you drive on 65 gallons of gas? What is the car's gas mileage? So first I'm going to find my unit rate. So I'm going to take 470 miles, and I'm going to divide that by 20 gallons of gas. I have my calculator up. Remember, you can use your calculators. 470 divided by 20 is 23.5. So that's miles per gallon. That's also written as mpg. So that's my second answer. I'm going to write that here. 23.5 miles per gallon. So that's how far I can go on 1 gallon of gas. So that makes it a lot easier for me to answer the first question. How far could you drive on 65 gallons of gas? All of these problems are very similar in that when you find the rate, it's per 1 unit of whatever you divided by. So per 1 gallon, I can go 23.5 miles. So then if I have to do 65 gallons, I'm going to multiply by it. Because I can go 23.5 and 23.5 and 23.5 and 23.5 65 times. So 23.5 mpg times 65 gallons. If I go here, I can do that times 65 equals 1,527.5 miles. So that answers my first question. How far could you drive on 65 gallons? 1,527.5 miles on 65 gallons of gas. So I answered both of those questions. So you can pause the video and do problem 5 because it's very similar to this. Okay. Problems 2 and 3 ask you one question, but you actually have to do 2 things for each one to figure out the answer to the question. So you're comparing prices at 2 different places for things. So I'm only going to do number 2. It's like number 6, but number 2 is also like number 3, which on yours is number 4. So when I do this problem, it's like number 6, but you'll also be able to do number 4 based on it. Okay? So you can buy 5 cans of green beans at the Village Market for $2. You can buy 10 of the same cans of beans at Sam's Club for $6.50. Which place is the better buy? I use this kind of math all the time when I'm shopping because I like to get a better deal on things. So especially if it's the exact same item, I want to get it where it's cheaper. There are lots of things to consider in that, so that isn't the only thing. Because if something means that I have to drive to Salem or Albany to get it, and I could get it in Dallas for cheaper, it costs more money in Dallas, it still might be cheaper to get it in Dallas because I don't have to use as much gas to get it. So some things it matters and some things it doesn't. At the store, sometimes cost of things, like something might be cheaper in a different brand, but there are certain things that I care about the brand, and so I don't want to buy the cheaper version because I want the name brand. So things like crackers. If I want Ritz crackers, I don't want to buy the cheaper brand of crackers. I want to buy the Ritz crackers. So if they're not on sale, then I just might not buy them because I don't want to pay that much money for them. But I'd rather buy them on sale and wait than buy the cheaper ones and have them not taste the same. Some people don't care about those things. And there are some things like that I don't care about either. But so it isn't all about that. However, this is a really useful thing that when am I going to use this in real life question? Right here. Especially as you get older and you start having to buy things with your own money and you want to know what is cheaper. However, you also have this thing here where if I have a set amount I have to buy to get the deal, I might not be able to buy a large quantity. So like if those 10 cans are all together and I don't have $6.50, it doesn't matter if it's a better deal. So we're going to find out the cost for each one. The rate, remember costs are rate. So I have $2 divided by 5 cans. And I'm going to do $6.50 divided by 10 cans. Now, this is the kind of math that you could probably do in your head, but if you cannot, use your calculator. So this is 40 cents per can. And then $6.50 divided by 10. Remember, we divide by 10. All we have to do is move our decimal over 1 and make it smaller. So this is 65 cents per can. So it will be cheaper for me to buy the cans at Village Market than at Stop and Save. Or not Stop and Save, sorry, Sam's Club. So that's my answer, but it's really important that you show your work for how you got that answer, that you didn't just make it up off the top of your head, that you actually did some research to find that out. Okay. Now, number 3, remember, is like number 4 on your page, but it's also like number 6 on your page. So I'm not going to do this one. You can figure that out. It's using the same kind of idea. Okay. Number 5 on my page is like your number 3. So you can find that. The bakers at Healthy Bakery can make 200 bagels in 2 hours. How many bagels can they bake in 19 hours, and what was that rate per hour? This is very similar to the gas mileage problem. So I will set this up so you can see how you would set it up. But I'm going to let you do your number 3 that's like this. So 200 bagels in 2 hours. So I do that. And so you're going to want to figure out how many bagels per hour. And then you take that number, the number of bagels per hour, and you multiply that by 19 hours. And that will give you the number of bagels. Okay, so in your problem, you have 330 bagels in 5 hours. So you will do 330 divided by 5. Okay, 330 bagels divided by 5 hours. And then when you get that answer, then you multiply that answer by 21 hours. Writing down your units is very helpful. Okay, so that you don't make a mistake somewhere. Write down what you're measuring. Okay, and remember this one's asking you 2 questions. Just like my problem up here asked me 2 questions. It wanted how far on 65 gallons and the unit rate. Okay, now number 5 is like number 1 on your page. A Ferris wheel can accommodate 55 people in 25 minutes. Okay, so I'm going to write that down. 55 people, 25 minutes. And I think on your assignment, if you look, it's the exact same for my unit rate. So your rate per hour will be the same as on there. So 55 people in 25 minutes. But look at the difference in this question from the other ones. It says how many people could ride the Ferris wheel in 6 hours? And what is the rate per hour? But they told me this in minutes. And minutes and rates, or minutes and hours, that has to be reconciled. Okay, so I need to make sure that my answer makes sense with what they're asking me. So 55 people in 25 minutes. So I do 55 divided by 25 to get my rate. So I have 2.2 people per minute. Now, often rates like this, obviously this isn't possible because hopefully they're not taking a person and just like putting their feet on a Ferris wheel and just that 0.2 of a person. People are whole. However, this is our rate per hour. So once you have, or per minute. So once you have several minutes go by, we can round it to the nearest whole person. But right now I want to keep this. So 2.2 people per minute is about how many people they can get on the Ferris wheel to go around. Okay. So to answer this question, rate per hour, I need to ask myself how many minutes are in an hour. And hopefully you know that that's 60. So I need to take my 2.2 people per minute. Now this is actually parts per million in other types of math. In science, parts per million. But for right now, it's people per minute. And we are going to multiply that by 60 minutes per hour so that I have a new unit on bottom. Now I'll have hour on the bottom and not minutes on the bottom. So 2.2 times 60 is 132. So my rate per hour is 132 people per hour. So every hour, 132 people can go on the Ferris wheel. So then I asked how many people could ride the Ferris wheel in 6 hours. So that means I need to take my 132 people per hour and multiply it by 6 hours. So 792 people can go on the Ferris wheel in 6 hours. So your problem is the same at the beginning, but you're asked a different amount here for your how many people, your number of hours is different. But otherwise it's the same at the beginning. So you can pause your video right now and do that problem number 1, and then come back for the last one. Okay. So now our last one is like number 2. A jet travels 570 miles in 5 hours. At this rate, how far could the jet fly in 14 hours? What is the rate of the speed of the jet? This one is similar to number 5 and number 1, where you're going to divide, take your miles that it goes over the hours, and get your miles per hour, and then that's your rate of speed. So I would do 570 miles divided by 5 hours. On your problem, it's 450 miles in 5 hours. So you would do the same thing, 450 miles divided by 5 hours. And that gives you your rate. Remember the unit. It would be miles per hour for your unit. And then, how far could the jet fly in 14 hours? So you would multiply it by 14. So this gives you your miles per hour. And then you take your number of hours and multiply it by your miles per hour to get your second answer. All right? So you have all the answers for your math for this week. And next week we will be continuing working with rates and ratios, but we're going to be talking about proportions and how to work with proportions and scale drawings. And it's kind of fun because it has to do with real life in how you, like you're designing a house or you're, building, a playground or something like that. You have a scale drawing so that you can look at the whole thing, and then it has a scale so that the person building it can make it proportional, can make it match what you drew. So we will talk about that stuff next week. And I can get my mouse to move over. All right, so I'll see you later. Bye.